always in love with love after Mark sings. Smooth road. Smooth road. If only the road was always smooth, right? So it's interesting, if you're surveying the road of life, you can survey it from many different vantage points at once, especially if you are tuned into the flow, which is God, and you are practicing, you're meditating, you're in prayer daily, then you can be very acquainted with what's happening in the outer world, but still be in a space where you're surveying like the eagles do over the treetops. And you can get a much wider, clearer understanding of what may be happening in the world. And I know as I pay attention to the clatter and the noise of the world, and I hear it, and I'm aware of it, I am as infinitely aware of the goodness of God and that there really is a smooth road, maybe that runs simultaneously with the things we perceive as bumps in the road. I think sometimes as I get more tuned in, I'm aware that there are bumps, but I'm not thinking of them as bumps in the road. I am always aware, more often than not, unless I'm caught in a situation and trying to make my way out, that there is this all-pervasive good, this all-pervasive love, this all-pervasive abundance in the universe, and that it thoroughly has my back. Thoroughly has my back. And I didn't always live like that. I didn't always live like that. In fact, I was always deep in the stuff we talked about last week. You know, rolling in the stuff, flipping the stuff around, enjoying the stuff, serving the stuff to other people. Because you want to share, don't you? You want to share. That's right. You want to share with your friends and the people you meet and everything else and tell them about all your stuff. And then we get to complaining about the world, and we're noticing all the darkness that may be going on, and we're, it's all in our heads. It seems to be in our lives. And of course, people are talking about it. And it's interesting. I don't know that I consciously made this decision, but I haven't been on social media much lately. And the world is a lot quieter without it. I'm noticing. Even if you're on there just to connect with people that I love, which is why I got on there in the first place. Because in between all the messages of love and, people asking for prayer and people taking pictures of their food and where they're on they're in the lawn chair and they're taking a picture of their feet with the horizon in front of them. Even with all of that, there's the stuff in between. There's a stuff in between. I have a very good friend who loves to send emails about the stuff happening in life. And there's always a tinge of angst and anxiety and drama in the emails. And she always starts them out saying, I know you want to hear about this. And lately, when I see her emails, when I see her name come up, I go, not so much. No, I don't think I need to know about that. But there is this, I do believe, and I say this often, that we are all here to do something in the world. And it doesn't have to be a global mission. We're all here, even if you're affecting your immediate family, the people that you work with, the people that you come into contact, no matter where you are or what you're doing, what it is you're up to. Even if you think it's just a mundane job that doesn't matter to anybody and has no major significance to the world, what you're doing is important. Because that heart space that I talked about in our opening prayer, that is always active. That heart space of yours is always bumping into and affecting other beings. And whatever that heart space is emanating at the time is your gift to the world in the moment. And I think we forget that. That you don't ever have to speak to somebody or tell them what your stuff is for them to know you got stuff going on. Because they'll feel it. They feel it. You don't have to tell people you're having a bad day. You don't have to tell people that the stuff's hitting the fan. They probably know by how you're carrying yourself, how you said hello, whether or not you said hello. It's interesting when I'm out because I speak to everybody. Hello, how are you? Good morning, how you doing? Things like that. A lot of times people just walk by and I don't get a grunt or much in return. And that's okay. That's okay. Because I know everybody's got something. We all have something. We all have something, don't we? I talk to probably all of you at some point in time during the month or week or on Sunday, even if it's for a few minutes. And so I know what's going on in your lives. We all are carrying something. And yet, at the same time, we're carrying that spark. That is life, that is love, that is abundance, that is strength, that is power. And it's that part of us that we let be overshadowed by our stuff. By our stuff. When we have much to offer the world. We have much to offer the world. And I think I keep talking about this because I think we are, maybe not more than any other time, because I think every generation thinks, we're about to go to hell in a handbasket. And we know exactly who's going to take us there. And depending on who you ask, the answer might be different. We know who's driving that basket and that roadway to hell. But we got some stuff going on in this world. And even if you don't think about the individual stuff, the specifics of the stuff, I think the biggest thing that we have going on that is a problem is that we don't know that we belong to each other. We don't know that we are one with every other being on this planet. Whether you like them or not, whether you know who they are or not, whether you like what they do, have done, whether you agree with how they pray, how they live, what kind of work they do. We're all one. We are forgotten that we are all one. And maybe a lot of us just didn't forget because we didn't know. Maybe we never thought about it. Maybe we've never heard that. Maybe we don't have that frame of reference for life, that we are all one. We are the same energetic force of God. And each of us is a unique expression, but we are still one one beingness. 8 billion humans running around. We are all one. And when I had first heard that, part of me, I didn't like that. Because there's some folks I didn't want to be one with. Yeah, I didn't. Because I think I'm different, better, kinder, smarter, cooler. I don't know. More enlightened. That's where we really get in trouble, when we think we are more enlightened. We start putting down other groups because we think they're lost. Because we think they're lost. And there is more fighting and stuff between groups of people who say they believe in God than any other group. And any other group. And every group has fought with every group. Every group has their stuff. And many of you know they call Sunday the most segregated day of the week. Can't even go to church and act like we're one. But the people sitting in the other church, those people, those crazy unity people. They're a cult. We are so not a cult. We don't have any rules. And we run so far from rules, it's funny. We don't have dogma. We don't make anybody believe anything. You don't have to give up anything. You don't even have to say you espouse the 5 principles. You can say, I think that's hogwash, but man, I like going to church on Sunday with those folks. I mean, you can even do that. But we talk about God and we forget that God is sitting right here, right next to you. And the people you're tearing down are one with you. And as we tear down others, we tear down ourselves. And as soon as you make somebody an other, you give yourself permission to do them damage. So if we could just get that, and I love that writing from that book, Urgent Message from Mother, that maybe one more person can tip the balance towards love. Towards love. And it's really the supreme commandment. If we didn't learn anything else, if you never read the Bible, if you never read another sacred text, if you never sat down to pray, but all you knew that my job while I'm here is just to love others. Love them as myself. Didn't say like you love yourself. As yourself, meaning you are one and the same as that other person. Love yourselves as one being, as one love, as God. The rest of it would get fixed. The rest of it will get fixed. That's our job. When we come here, as I just told you to love one another. Love one another. And so that's the solution to the problem. Whatever problem you think of, whichever one you pick on the list of a long list of problems we got, and you can roll that paper down with the list of problems, pick it up and and that list is still unfurling. Love is the answer in some shape or form. Love is the answer in some shape or form. What a wonderful story about the snowflake. The 3,741st, 552nd snowflake broke the branch. Made the difference. And we all think we're so insignificant. My vote doesn't count, my time doesn't count, my small deed of goodness or kindness doesn't count. But it all comes together into the vortex of love and kindness that circulates through every one of us. And the more we step into love ourselves, the greater the global consciousness of love and grace and wisdom and kindness. That's the way the world is made. It can't happen any other way. The more we love, or the more we hate, it foments more hate. So we already got that going on. The hate's already been swirling. But those of us who know, those of us who say we know, those of us who preach the stuff, I'm not talking about me preaching, I'm talking about all of us who walk around talking about, oh, kindness is good, love is good, let's love one another, we're all one. And then we get right on social media and say, oh, that person had said so-and-so. I can't believe that guy got up and said that at that meeting. We turn right around in an instant and come from something else other than love. That's our work. That's how we change the world, is by loving one another. By loving one another and loving ourselves. Loving ourselves. If you don't love yourself, you don't have a prayer in this world of loving other people. So it's got to start at home. You got to be able to know, you got to be able to look at yourself fully, and know that you love yourself. And know where that love comes from. That first cause that created you as love, created you in its image and likeness, is love. So you can be nothing else but love. It's impossible for you to be anything else other than love. And some of you believe that, and some of you still don't. I was going through Instagram and came across a short video, a reel, with Viola Davis, the actress, talking about love and self-acceptance. And it's one of those things that you need to hear at a particular time of the day because something's going on, and you hear it, and it hits you in the heart. And I'm paraphrasing. She said, sometimes we tell ourselves we're not pretty enough. We're not smart enough. We're not good enough. We're not worthy enough. Nobody loves us like we want them to love us. And the truth is that you were created as love before you ever came into physical existence. Doesn't matter who your parents are. Doesn't matter how much they loved you or didn't love you. Doesn't matter how much they messed up themselves. Doesn't matter what they thought of themselves, whether they loved themselves or not, or had the capacity to love you as much as you needed to be loved, or still need to be loved. Sometimes our parents are not here on this earthly plane anymore, but we're still hurting from what happened at the hands of our parents. Some of us are still smarting from that. And we got to know that irrespective of all that, we are still love. You got to go out and love more. And be more of that. And change the world through that. So I finally finished reading this book. I am living in the rhythm of the God within, in the key of G minor. And George Augustus Stallings calls God G major. And I've read a little bit from this book before, but here at the end, he's talking about September 11th. And I just finished reading another book, which I think I talked about a little bit. A gentleman who wrote a book. He was on one of the planes that he was flying from France into New York on September 11th, and his plane was diverted. And he and 220 other of his fellow travelers on that flight that morning ended up in Gander, Newfoundland, and were treated with kindness and love on the day of unspeakable sadness. So this is what George Augustus Stallings says. An unprecedented tragedy of biblical proportions wreaked havoc upon the American landscape on Tuesday, September 11, 2001. The apocalyptic catastrophe on that day etched an indelible mark on the collective psyche of the human family. The unleashing of hell's fury through demonic acts of terrorism and aggression clearly demonstrated the lowest depths of ungodliness towards one another and manifested a total disregard for the inestimable value of human life. On that cursed and evil day, there was hardly anyone whose heart was not ripped apart and whose faith was not shaken to its core. Where was God? People asked. He says, wake up, everybody. Why do we always try to drag God into the picture when he is already there at the centerfold? The question that cries out for an emergency response is not where was God, but where is God in our lives? God always was and always will be with us. Where were we? Where were we? God is within us, and so are the solutions to our problems. Wake up, everybody. A lot of people ask, when's God going to fix it? When God's going to fix it? When's Jesus coming again? We need Jesus. How could God let it happen? How could God let it happen? God didn't let it happen. He sent us here with free will and told us to love one another. And if we're getting ready to drive it into the ditch, it's because we drove it into the ditch. He gave us everything, 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 everything. And while we're sitting here with our hands up, where's God in all of it? You're sitting there as God, made in his image and likeness. With 8 billion other gods in G minor, as George Augustus Stallings says, waiting on something to happen. When we're the something that happened. We're the something that happened. We are the something that happened. And even if we're not the one who navigated that plane into that building, whenever we didn't show love, it was like we were sitting in that cockpit driving a plane into a building. Every single time we fall short in sharing our light, we're complicit. We're complicit. What you do matters. Your energy matters. Your consciousness matters. How you look at the cashier in the grocery store matters. How you treat the person who cuts your grass matters. When we gossip and complain, it matters. When we tear other people down, it matters. When we glory at others' pain, it matters. No matter how much we don't like them, it still matters. It still matters. We're coming into an election cycle and the gloves are already off. We're starting to duke it out. Primary season, people on the same side are duking it out with each other. And then we come out and then the two groups fight each other. And the ugliness starts to sling. And a lot of us are doing the slinging. We're doing the slinging. And a lot of times we're doing the slinging in our self-righteousness. Just because you're right doesn't mean you can hate. Doesn't make hate okay. It doesn't make hurtful language, spiteful language okay. Because then you're so not right anymore. You have to be pure of heart, and love anyway. Love anyway, and love anyway, love anyway. Well, I don't like them, love anyway. She gets on my nerves, love anyway. People around here can't drive, love them anyway. Those kids get on my nerves, they run across my grass, love them anyway. His dog pooped on my lawn, love them anyway. Oh my God, he's running for office. Love him anyway. I know, a lot of you went, oof, God, did she say that? God. Love him anyway, love him anyway, love him anyway. God didn't say it was easy. It could be. Could be easy if we would come off our high horses, if we would stop being so self-righteous, if we would stop thinking we're always right, if we stopped having a need to be right. What if the only need you had was to love? What if the only need you had was to spread peace? Talked about this before. The holidays are coming. Some of you are going to be bumping up with family. Later, oof. Here you go again. Oof. First he talked about politicians, now family. Oof. Oof. Who did I call out before? Oh, somebody's big-headed brother. A lot of us have a big-headed brother, right? We just want to... I'll get you back for stealing my cookies when we were 6. Why aren't you living how I want you to live? Why didn't you marry the person I thought you should marry? Why don't you teach your kids how to sit down? Yeah. Why do you have to drive that car? Why you got to talk about your money? Love anyway, love anyway, love anyway, love anyway. What if we only had the need to love? We would never have to worry about it coming back. Because whatever you spread comes back. Whatever you plant grows. Whatever you nurture blossoms. What if we only needed to spread peace? What if you were the instrument of peace every single time some drama started to open up in the room? You were the enlightened adult in the room, the loving adult. I won't use enlightened anymore because some of us get to. We do that again. I love throwing my hair back. Just spread love, spread love, spread love, spread love. The world is crying out for love. There's this, God, I had it memorized. I really did. Michael Beckwith said, "The news is a prayer request from our society." The news is a prayer request. So every time you hear something that hurts your heart, every time you hear something that makes you worry, reframe it and offer a prayer of peace and love to the world, for the world. Every time you start to feel something get up your craw, oh, there she is. There's my boss. Oh my God, he's talking again, he's talking again. Offer a prayer of peace. Every time you hear something on the news that's disturbing, it's a prayer request. And if you notice it, then it's your time to pray. It's your time to pray. It's your time to pray. And I bet you there's somebody else praying at the same time. And when we get together and we pray, then that prayer expands. It expands. And it doesn't matter that the other person praying is 5,000 miles away. Doesn't matter. That prayer energy joins together. And that's what can change the world. But we are here to do it. So as soon as you start looking for somebody else, I don't know who you're looking to. Who else is going to do it but you? If it's on your radar screen, it's probably you. It's probably you. And the solution is as simple as a prayer. You don't have to go out and fix things or fundraise or raise millions of dollars or move to another country and feed people who don't have food. You don't have to do that. You can sit in your space and shine your light and remind yourself of who and what you are, that you are a unique expression of the divine, and that you too are one with divine wisdom and divine love, and that you have the power to bless and to heal the world through your prayer, and to pray that prayer in that moment. And know that you have just shaken the world in that moment. That you have contributed to the global good in that moment. You are that significant. You are that significant. You are that significant. So let's take this in a meditation. So breathe deeply. So the question is to ask yourself, with whatever's going on in your life, no matter what it is. How can I be love and peace in this situation? How do I show up as the instrument of the divine? How do I show up as the divine here and now? How can I be love and peace and contribute to the global good here and now? How can I smooth the road for someone else? For all sentient beings. How can I smooth the jagged edges of my relationship? How can I be harmony and unity in a world that feels separated? How can I give those who feel oppressed and judged and worn down a home in my heart? How can I find more love and peace in my heart than I have ever found before? How can I stretch myself, my capacity for love and peace? How can I be more of that everywhere I go? How can I step out of my stuff and be a beacon for someone else? How may I be an answer to someone's prayer today? How may I be an answer to my own prayer today? How may it be an answer to my own prayer today? So just breathe and relax. And repeat in your heart of hearts or out loud if you need to, I am an instrument of peace and love. I am an instrument of peace and love. I am an instrument of peace and love. I am peace and love. And breathe in peace and love. Breathe it in, knowing that it is infinite, and exhale it into the world, knowing that your breath is the breath of God. Your breath is the breath of God. And you have the capacity, you have the dominion, you have the gift of blessing and healing to spread throughout this universe. To bless and heal Mother Earth. To bless and heal all of humanity. In your magnificence as a divine being. We can do all things in him who strengthens us. We can do all things as him who strengthens us. Breathe and relax. You have only to love. You have only to love. You have only to love. One more deep breath. Exhale. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen.